Hello friends, welcome back to Fishing from Scratch. As you can tell, I'm already down here at the river, and if you watch my videos, you'll realize or recognize that I'm back at the same spot that I was last week. Well, there's a reason for that, and the reason is I had a good talk with some of my best friends, and one of them told me, hey man, here's something I think you should do more in your content. He said, I don't know anything about fishing, and I really don't care. It's not my thing. But I really enjoy watching people explain what they're doing when they actually know what they're doing. Well, I got to thinking about it. You know, he's right. I do understand what I'm doing. I came to this spot for a reason, and I didn't say anything about that in the video. And as I was driving back from Georgia to North Carolina, coming home, I just was thinking about what we had spoke about. And he's right. I really should talk more about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. That way maybe I can instill some knowledge in some folks that may stumble across these videos and not have that knowledge. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're having a good and safe one. And maybe you're out doing a little trout fishing yourself in this time of year, and maybe you're not having some success. So if that's you, watch this video. You might learn something. If not, watch it anyways and enjoy. Let's get to fishing. Alrighty, let's get at this. Let's be like that majestic bald eagle and swoop down and snatch us a fish right out of this water on the 4th of July. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you learned something. I'm at least gonna give it a concerted effort to maybe teach you a little bit about what I know, because it ain't much, so this will be a short video. The reason that I'm here at this spot is because it's 4th of July. It's hot. The water level's low. It's super clear. You can see straight to the bottom in it. And all of those things really suck for trout fishing. Trout have very good eyesight, and they like cold water. Now, this main section of river here, it's in the 70s, low 70s, but it's in the 70s degree water temps. And when the water temps get that high, the trout don't like it. It's not good for them. They seek cold, aerated water. Well, the reason that I'm here at this spot is this right here. This is a little creek that runs in, and just for me stepping from the river into this water is I didn't bring a thermometer to check it, but I would give it an educated guess that this water here is at least in the 60s. It's very, very cold. So what that does is you've got this cold water flowing straight out into this warm water river, and if you look, you can even see right up here in front of me, all the bait fish are walking this line or swimming this line between the hot and cold water. This water is very oxygenated, and it's very cold, and the fish thrive in it. So when you're out fishing in the summertime in the mountains, you know, for trout at least, and that's the main thing that this matters about, look for a cold water creek pouring into a warmer water river, and that is going to consolidate fish. So we got the cold water coming in right here. I can see bait fish all over the place, and it's going to spill straight on the other side of this rock, and behind that rock is going to be a spot that is a lot colder than the main river. So all the fish that migrate up and move, they're going to stop in this spot because it's cold water, it's oxygenated, and it's going to have a higher consolidation of food. All these bait fish and all this stuff, you've got all this clean water coming down. Even though it looks muddy, we did have a rain here, you've got all this cold water coming down that's going to hold a lot of food. So that's where the fish are going to be, and that is going to apply pretty much anywhere you fish for trout. If you got cold water running into warm water, make a cast there, because that's where fish are going to hang out, because simply they just thrive in it. Excuse me. Another thing that I should say that is pertinent information, the creek that's spilling in here, as you can tell, it's pretty muddy. There's a lot of silt and mud in it, opposed to the river over there that's actually really clear. Well, that's actually a good thing, because what that does is that gives me a little cover from these fish that's going to be hanging out down here behind this rock in that cold water. They simply can't see me as well, and that actually helps. That's a benefit. So when the water's got a little murk to it, especially in the summertime this time of year, those are your better days to fish. That will really help you catch more fish, because simply the trout can't see you as easily. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's a good fish. That is a good fish. Let's get it around this rock. Yes, sir. Come on, baby. Yeah, that's a good trout right there. Now, I am running a barbless hook, so I do need to keep good pressure on it. Let's get this thing up here to my net. Yeah, that's a dandy of a trout. Come here, baby. There it is. That is a dandy of a trout. Let me get him up here and get him processed, and I'll show him to you. All right, there we go. Look at here. That's a nice, probably 16 or 17 inch stalker rainbow trout. That's a pretty fish. I did dispatch it. I am going to take this fish back for a feed because I got some family up, and hell, we'd like to have a little fresh trout. And that's going to be a good eating one, so I am going to take this one back with us. But there you go. That's a nice trout for summertime fishing, because trout does get a little tough to catch this time of year. So being able to land one like that, well, that's a really pretty fish. There's a bite. There it is. There we go. Come on, baby. That feels like a pretty decent little fish. I got to get it around this rock here, though. What we got? That's a decent little rainbow. That's a pretty little rainbow action there. That is a perfect size trout to eat. Those are the best ones. About 12, 13 inches, that's the perfect size trout to eat. That first one I caught is actually a little large, but just to give you a scale size here, you can see the difference in size of fish there. You can see that, but regardless, that's 2 trout. I do want to try this rock ledge one time before I go, even though the water's warm. Rock ledges are one of my favorite things to fish. I know them well. What you've got here is you've got just rocks that go out and drop off into a deep hole where all this water's flowing down, and there's all kinds of spots right up in there for fish to hide. Now, even though the water's warm, besides trout, there's very well smallmouth and all kinds of stuff floating around, like right up against that rock ledge. So we'll just drop this bait down in there real quick. See if we can't get a little bite here. What we got? What we got? That is another trout. That is a trout out in that warm water. That is crazy. Look at him fighting there. You see that? Ain't that pretty? Come here, buddy. That's another rainbow. I'm actually surprised that that fish was out in that section of water. But that, man, it just goes to show there is no perfect thing with this stuff. That's a dandy of a trout. All right, boys, come on. Let's get out of this rain. Hey, that's enough. Chill out, buddies. Come on now. Bunch of divas. Come on, get on out of here. Boy, the rain keeps coming down. Well, today was a pretty good session. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I was able to instill a little bit of what knowledge I have into you. Remember, this time of year, as hot as it is, in this kind of water, if you're trout fishing, you got to look for those cold water creeks running in, because those spots are always going to hold fish. I think I kind of proved that today. Another thing is, it doesn't matter what tackle you're using. Don't let people deter you from just taking some bait out there on just a hook and a regular old rod and reel. Flip out there and catch you some trout. As long as you're having a good time and being successful, that's all that matters. I hope you guys have a happy 4th of July weekend. Remember, take care of this land and each other. Fishing from Scratch is out. We'll catch you next time.